Critical realism is first and foremost a philosophy concerned with ontology, which is the philosophical study of being. And in its first move, it reivindicated ontology. So it was concerned to argue that you couldn't reduce statements about the world, that is ontology, to statements about our knowledge of the world, that is epistemology. And the attempt to do so was called the epistemic fallacy. At the same time, it argued that against the implicit ontology of mainstream philosophy, which pictured the world as unstructured, undifferentiated, and unchanging. It put forward a view of reality as structured, differentiated, and changing. Turning to the social sciences, it argued that social structure was a necessary condition and always pre-existed any round of agency, but agency, human agency, in turn was necessary for the reproduction and transformation of social structure. The concept of agency itself is very important to critical realists, and they see mind as an emergent power of matter and reasons as causally efficacious in producing actions. The conception of society was further developed through the notion of four-planar social being, which is the idea that all social events occur simultaneously on four planes. These are the planes of material transactions with nature, social interactions between people, social structure, and the stratification of the embodied personality. Now, if you think about these four planes today, you can see that we're obviously in crisis at all four planes. And the crisis at these four planes provides one of the themes for this year's EACA conference, which I'll tell you about at the end. So we've discussed critical realism as a philosophy of science and a philosophy of social science. But ontology was developed through a notion of through altogether 7 levels of ontology. And I just want to fasten on 2 in particular. At the second level, in the phase of critical realism, which we call dialectical critical realism, notions of absence, negativity, and change came to the fore, and critical realists argued that these are real. This was against a doctrine which could be called ontological monovalence, which has underpinned the whole trajectory of Western philosophy since the time of Parmenides. So that was the second level of the development of ontology. Now, skipping to the last level, and in the phase of development of critical realism known as a meta-reality, critical realism argues that the world of what's called demi-reality, that is the world of illusion and oppression, is actually underpinned by an unrecognized realm of trust and solidarity. And it argues these qualities and action at this meta-real level sustains the whole of social reality. So the 7th level of development of ontology, in the philosophy of meta-reality, it's argued that the world of what I've called demi-reality, a world of illusion and oppression, which currently dominates us, is actually tacitly underpinned by a world of trust and solidarity. And exploring it in the philosophy of meta-reality allows us to identify here and now a world which can form the basis for a society of universal human flourishing. if there's one theme that unites the different theories and developments in the philosophy of critical realism, it is the idea of seriousness. That is, of the unity of theory and practice. And what critical realism attempts to do is to give us a philosophy that we can act on, in contradiction from much of current Western philosophy. Now, if you'd like to find out more about it, I suggest you come to the next annual conference of IECA. The theme of the conference is from the anatomy of the global crisis that besets us at all four planes of social being, to the ontology of human flourishing, that is, to the possibility of an existence which is far, far better than the one that we currently have.